Samantha, the business empire, the spiritual journey, the personal brand masterclass. Let's cover everything. So, in 2021, her marriage ended publicly. In 2022, she was diagnosed with a rare autoimmune disease. Her personal life was front page news everywhere. Every tabloid said her career was over. And what did Samantha do? She launched a production company, she invested in multiple startups, she built India's most talked about personal brand. She delivered one of India's highest grossing performances, and she turned her health crisis into a movement that inspired millions. Samantha Ruth Prabhu is not just an actress. She is a brand architect, a business builder, a spiritual seeker, a fitness transformer, and one of the most strategically intelligent public figures India has ever seen. Today, we are going to do a complete breakdown of everything Samantha has built: her business, her brands, her investments, her content strategy, her spiritual practice, her fitness philosophy, her personal branding genius, and the deep life lessons every aspiring entrepreneur and creator can take from her story. This is not a celebrity gossip video. This is a masterclass in building a personal brand empire using Samantha's life as the case study. Let's begin. So, who is Samantha? Is the foundation. So, before we break down the business, let's understand the person. Samantha Ruth Prabhu was born on April 28, 1987, in Chennai, Tamil Nadu. She grew up in a middle class family. Her father is of Telugu descent, her mother is Malayali, and she studied at Stella Maris College, Chennai, completing a degree in commerce while simultaneously auditioning for films. She made her acting debut in 2010 with the Telugu film Josh. But her breakthrough came with Ye Maya Chesave, a film that made her not just an actress but a phenomenon. What followed was a decade of consistent quality work. Brindavanam in 2010, Ega in 2012, a S.S. Rajamouli's cult classic, then Seetamma Vakitlo Sirimale Chettu in 2013, Rangasthalam in 2018, critically acclaimed, Oh Baby in 2019, produced, performed, and dominated. Next, The Family Man Season 2 in 2021, the performance that changed everything. The Family Man Season 2 is the turning point of Samantha's story. Her portrayal of Raji, uh, what do we say, a Sri Lankan Tamil militant, is considered one of the finest performances in Indian digital content history. Amazon Prime's viewership records were broken. International critics praised her, Bollywood called. But something else was also happening in 2021. Her marriage to actor Naga Chaitanya ended, and the Samantha that emerged from that personal storm was not the same Samantha who went in. So she was sharper, more intentional, more strategic. She wasn't rebuilding, she was building from scratch on her own terms. And that is when the real business story begins. So, first, Samantha's complete business ecosystem. For understanding it, let us first start with the chapter 1, the acting brand and building selective stardom. So, Samantha's first and most uh, foundational business is her acting career, but she manages it like a brand, not like a job. So most actors take projects based on director's name, co-stars popularity, studios backing. Samantha takes projects based on character quality. Is this role something nobody has done before? And platform reach, that will this reach the widest audience? And third is creative control, that does she have say in how the character is portrayed? So let's look at her post in 2021, Choices with This Lens. So the Family Man season 2, which happened. Um, so in 2021, so that was by Amazon Prime. So she played Raji, a role most established heroines would have refused. Complex, grey, morally ambiguous, physically demanding. And the result global recognition, 190 countries, millions of new fans, and brand lesson to be like choose roles that differentiate, not the roles that repeat what you have already done. Coming to Yashoda, Yashoda she did in 2022 during her mitosis battle. So she was filming while undergoing treatment for her autoimmune disease. The film showed her in a physically intense forward role. She used this film to prove to the industry and to herself that she was unbreakable. Brand lesson: your work, even during hardship, is the most powerful personal statement you can make. Next, we have Kushi in 2023 with Vijay Devarkonda, a commercial romantic entertainer, but in Samantha's filmography, this was strategic. After years of intense dark roles, Kushi showed a range, lightness, humor, and the brand lesson being versatility is an asset. Don't get trapped in one register. Next, we have Citadel Honey Bunny in 2024, which is also an Amazon Prime series. So, India's biggest budget OTT series of rupees 300 plus crore production. So, international IP, global platform, action lead role. Co starred with Varun Dhawan, bringing North Indian audience into her ecosystem. Brand lesson here is that use strategic projects to expand geography, not just deepen existing territory. So, what is Samantha building with her acting career? So, she is not just a filmography, so a global content footprint. So, every, like, she's building not just a filmography, a global content footprint. So, every project adds a new dimension to the Samantha brand. So, she's building a reputation for quality over quantity, physical commitment, emotional authenticity, and willingness to take risks. So, this makes her not just hireable but irreplaceable. Now comes the chapter 2, Saaki. So, this is the fashion and lifestyle brand. So, Samantha co founded Saaki, a fashion and lifestyle brand, and this venture tells you everything about how she thinks as an entrepreneur. So, Saaki was not launched as a celebrity vanity project, it was built with a clear vision, authentic, wearable, Indian inspired fashion for the modern woman. What makes Saki different is that most celebrity fashion brands make the mistake of making everything about the celebrity. Saki made everything under like about the customer. So the brand focuses on comfortable contemporary silhouettes with Indian text heritage. So, in accessible price points, not luxury exclusivity, and authentic storytelling. So, the brand communicates its values visually and verbally. And digital first. So, built on Instagram and e commerce from day one. Next, coming to the business model, direct to consumer, that is D2C, cutting out the middlemen. So online first, as lower operational cost, higher margin. Then content driven marketing, that Samantha's own social presence drives or organic traffic and collection drops, creating urgency and exclusivity without artificial scarcity. And if you ask why this works, Samantha's followers trust her personal aesthetic. And when she wears something, people want to wear it. And she's not using her frame to sell a product, she's using her authenticity to build a brand. And there's a fundamental difference, and audience can feel it. And also that If you ask the brand extension potential, Saki is positioned to expand into home decor, wellness products, accessories, and beauty. So the brand has the infrastructure to become a full lifestyle ecosystem, not just apparel. And lesson for entrepreneurs is that your personal brand's equity is uh, trust equity is your most valuable business asset. So use it to build categories where your audience is already looking to you for guidance. And next we have the chapter 3 is coming up, like the investment portfolio. So startup investments and the portfolio builder. Samantha has been quietly building an investment portfolio in India's startup ecosystem, and her choices reveal a sophisticated understanding of emerging consumer trends. First, we have many, but first let's talk about Traya Health. So Samantha invested in and became a brand face of Traya, a science-backed hair loss solution brand. So Traya uses a combination of Ayurveda and modern medicine, a tri approach, hence the name. And why this investment makes sense is that hair health is a massive underserved concern for Indian women. So Traya had strong unit economics, a subscription model, recurring revenue, and a differentiated offering. Samantha's involvement brought credibility plus media coverage worth crores. And startup investment lesson here is that invest in problems you understand personally. Samantha went through significant health challenges. Health and wellness are authentic territories for her. Next, we have Milo. So, Milo, his platform focused on pregnancy, motherhood, and women's health. So, Samantha invested in and endorsed Milo, a space growing with India's young millennial parenting population. And the Milo platform offers community, content, and commerce, a full stack women's health ecosystem. Next, we have Roast and Grind. Coffee culture in India is exploding, especially among the urban millennial demographic. So, Samantha invested in Roast and Grind, a premium specialty coffee brand. Her association brought the brand into the lifestyle conversation, not just beverage consumption. Next, we have the investment philosophy. So, looking at her portfolio, Samantha's investment clustered around women's health and wellness of Traya and Milo, premium lifestyle consumption of Saaki and coffee, and digital first D2C brand built for Instagram era consumers. So, she is not diversifying randomly, and she's building an investment thesis. So I invest in brands that serve the aspirational urban Indian woman, health, style, and lifestyle. So every investment reinforces her personal brand and her financial portfolio. This is the genius. The brand and the business reinforce each other in both directions. Next, we have chapter 4, that is the production and content creation. So Samantha took the next natural step for a strategic content creator. She moved behind the camera. D180 Productions. So Samantha's production venture formed to give her creative control over the stories she tells. The name D180 references a 180-degree creative turn, suggesting a fresh, different approach to storytelling. Why production matters for an actor? So you control the narrative here, so not just perform in someone else's story. Second is that you capture a share of the value creation, so not just earn a performance fee. You build assets, that is IP, that generate long term value, and also you discover and develop new talent, expanding your ecosystem. Next, if we go, we have the content strategy on social media. So, what does this mean? Like, Samantha's Instagram is not just a promotional tool, right? it is a content product. So she has mastered the art of contextual authenticity. So she shares fitness content, that is real workouts, real progress. She shares spiritual content, Devi Sadhana and meditations. And she shares health vulnerability, like her mitosis journey. She shares professional pride, set movements, film promotions, and each content category serves a different audience segment. And she holds all of them together under one cohort identity, the real Samantha. This is content strategy at an elite level. Next, let us come to the Devi Sadhana, chapter 5. So, the spiritual dimension. So, this is the chapter that most business breakdowns skip, and it's the one that explains everything else. So, Samantha Ruth Prabhu has been publicly open about her spiritual practice, specifically her devotion to the goddess Devi and her sadhana practice. So, what is Devi sadhana, if anyone asks? So, sadhana means spiritual practice or discipline. So, Devi sadhana is a specific practice centered on the workshop of the divine feminine, Shakti, in various forms like Durga, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Kali, and it involves daily rituals, mantra chanting, meditation, and a life philosophy centered on surrender, strength, and transformation. So, if how Samantha discovered this practice means after her divorce and during her mitosis diagnosis, um, Samantha went on a deep spiritual journey. So she visited temples, she worked with spiritual guides, she began a dedicated daily practice. She has spoken in multiple interviews about how Devi Sadhana gave her clarity, strength, and a sense of surrender, especially when she couldn't control the outcomes in her professional or health life. And why this matters for her brand is that her spiritual openness did something most PR consultants would never recommend. She became vulnerable publicly without apology, and audiences, especially women, responded with an outpouring of support and connection. So she wasn't just an actress they admired from a distance, she became someone they felt they knew, someone who was going through real things, someone who was choosing growth over victimhood. And coming to the business impact of authentic spirituality, Samantha's spiritual content is some of our most shared, most saved content. So, women in India connect deeply with the Devi archetype, strength through vulnerability, Shakti through surrender. And her sadhana practice has become part of her brand identity, not as performance, but as genuine self expression. And this authenticity is impossible to fake at scale, and it is the most durable competitive advantage in personal branding. And coming to the life philosophy, Samantha speaks of living in alignment, making choices in career, business, and relationships that align with her values. So this is why she can say no to a high paying film that doesn't resonate. So this is why she invests in health and wellness brands, because she lives the values she promotes. And this is why her audience trusts her, because her inside and outside of her brand are consistent. The spiritual dimension isn't separate from the business, it is the foundation of the business. Next, moving to the next chapter, that is chapter 6, the health transformation. So, the health and fitness transformation, coming to this, the single most powerful and publicly documented chapter of Samantha's life in recent years is her health journey, and she turned it into a movement. Coming to the first, we have the mitosis diagnosis in 2022. In October 2022, Samantha publicly revealed she had been diagnosed with mitosis, a rare autoimmune condition where the immune system attacks the body's own muscle tissue. Symptoms include extreme fatigue, muscle weakness, pain, and in severe cases, difficulty swallowing and breathing. This is a chronic, life altering condition. There is no cure, only management. Her announcement broke millions of hearts, but what she did with that diagnosis broke millions of doubts about what's possible. And let us see how she managed it. Okay, so she assembled a world class medical and wellness team. She combined conventional medical treatment with alternative therapies. She completely overhauled her diet, anti inflammatory, plant forward, nutrient dense, and she continued working at an international level while managing active symptoms. Coming to the fitness philosophy, the fitness philosophy she built me is post diagnosis. Samantha's approach to fitness shifted from aesthetics to function. So her workouts became about what her body can do, not how it looks. So she publicly explored pole dancing for build strength, coordination, and joy. Reformer Pilates because they were low impact, deep core strength. Next, functional resistance training, and also yoga and breath work, and cold therapy and recovery protocols. So her fitness content became aspirational not because she looked perfect, but because she showed real effort, real struggle, and real progress. Next, we have the Sam Who movement. So, after her divorce, a now legendary social media moment happened. She shared a post with Sam Who, a playful, defiant, self reclaiming declaration. Millions rallied behind her. It became a cultural movement, a phrase of feminine um, defense and self reinvention. So, this was not planned marketing, but it demonstrated a brand principle. Authentic emotion at the right moment becomes viral, brand defining content. Coming to the wellness business ecosystem it created, her health journey directly created. First is increased trust in her wellness brand investments, that is Traya and Milo. Next, a deeply loyal audience of women who saw themselves in her struggle. Third is that the content partnerships with health and fitness brands worth crores. Next, a credibility mode that no competitor can replicate because they didn't live the story. And when Samantha promotes a wellness product, it doesn't feel like an ad. It feels like a recommendation from someone who has been through the fire and found what works. So that is incalculable brand value. Next, we have chapter 7, that is the personal brand ecosystem strategy analysis. So now let's zoom out and look at what Samantha has built as a complete system. So most celebrities have a brand. Samantha has built a brand ecosystem. The difference, a brand is a single identity, consistent, recognizable. A brand ecosystem is a network of interconnected elements where each piece makes every other piece stronger. So, Samantha's brand ecosystem map. Let us see. First, the core. Let us see the core identity. Okay. So, first, coming to authentic, courageous Indian woman who builds from within, professionally, physically, and spiritually. So, layer one was acting. So, it builds visibility, reputation, global reach. feeds audience into every other layer. Layer 2 is social media content. So it bridges the professional identity with the personal, and creates daily touch points with the audience. And three content pillars: wellness, spirituality, and professional. Next, we have layer 3, that is fashion and lifestyle with Saaki. So it converts audience trust into commerce. So style is a natural extension of a personal brand. Next, we have layer 4, that is health and health investments, that is Traya and Milo. So it converts health authenticity into business credibility. So the investment is the endorsement. Next, we have layer 5, that is production. So it converts influence into creative control. So it moves from talent to owner. Next, we have layer 6, that is spiritual brand, that is Devi Sadhana. And the deepest layer, it gives everything else meaning and directionality. So, why this ecosystem is so powerful is that each layer feeds every other layer, acting frame to social media followers to social media followers to fashion brand customers, and then health journey into investment credibility to startup partnerships, and spiritual authenticity to audience trust, and audience trust into everything. So this is not a diversification strategy, this is an integration strategy, and everything she does makes everything else more valuable. Let us see the three core principles of Samantha's personal brand. Principle one being the radical authenticity. So she never pretend the divorce didn't hurt. She never pretend the illness wasn't frightening. She never pretend her transformation was easy. This radical honesty is the foundation of every business venture she has. Principle two is that strategic vulnerability. So there is a difference between oversharing and strategic vulnerability. So Samantha shares what helps her audience, not everything about her life. So her pain becomes useful when it gives others permission to face their own. Next, we have principle 3, that is domain consistency. So everything she does, health, spirituality, fashion, acting, is consistent with one identity. So she has never chased money into a territory that doesn't fit who she is. Okay. Now coming to the personal branding lesson. So you don't build a personal brand. Okay. So here what I will be saying is that you don't build a personal brand by broadcasting who you want to be. So you build it by living consistently. Then letting people see that living authentically. And Samantha didn't plan the Sam Who moment, it was real. And she didn't plan the health journey, it happened. And she didn't plan to become an inspiration, she just survived visibly and honestly. And that is the paradox of most powerful personal brands. They feel effortless because they are simply the amplification of who the person genuinely is. Now, if we come to chapter 8, that is the final, I guess, is is to the numbers Samantha's brand value. So let's look at the scale of what Samantha has built by the numbers. So social media, as I told you, is 35 million plus followers. So one of the highest for any South Indian entertainer. And Twitter has 8 million plus followers. YouTube, multiple crore views across content. Coming to brand endorsements, Samantha has been the brand ambassador of for an for or associated with Remy Matrix, Lux, Chiku, Traya, Milo, Saaki, and numerous fashion and lifestyle brands. And endorsement fees at her level typically range from 2 to 5 crore per brand deal, with 5 to 8 active endorsements, and annual endorsement income alone being 10 to 40 crore estimated. And coming to production and acting fees, post Family Man 2 and Citadel Honey Bunny, um, her per film fee is in 15 to 25 crore range for major productions. Coming to estimated brand ecosystem value, brand valuation firms have estimated Samantha's combined brand value, that is endorsements plus business ventures plus production, at over 100 crore in total value, making her one of the most valuable personal brand in southern India entertainment. And coming to the compound effect, each new film increases her social media value, and each social media milestone is increased her endorsement rates, and each endorsement validates her startup investments, and each investment increases her credibility as a businesswoman. This is compounding, and it applied to personal branding. Now, if you come the key lessons for entrepreneurs and creators, let me now distill everything Samantha's story teaches us into actionable lessons. So, if you see of what she had done until now, like first, the lesson one would be that your crisis is your content. So, Samantha didn't hide her illness or her divorce, she processed it publicly with dignity. And the authenticity of her struggle made her audience more loyal, not less. And for creators and entrepreneurs, don't sanitize your story. Share the reality with intention. Lesson 2, being built at the intersection of your passions and your audience's needs. So, health, spirituality, fashion, storytelling, these are not random. So they are the exact overlap of what Samantha cares about and what her audience is hungry for. So find your intersection, build there only. And lesson 3 is to choose quality over quantity in every domain. So few films, higher quality, few brand deals, higher alignment. And Samantha does not dilute her brand for short term money. She earns less in a short term sometimes, but her brand becomes more valuable long term. Lesson 4 is your personal values are your business mode. So her Devi Sadhana is not just a spiritual practice, it is what makes her consistent across all her decisions. So when you have clear values, every business decision becomes easier. And when your audience sees who those values, they become your most loyal customers. Coming to lesson 5, own your platforms, own your audience. So, Saaki production company, social media presence. So, Samantha builds channels she controls, not just rents audience from studios and agencies. So, for every creator, build your own platform alongside your platform presence. Lesson 6 is build a team that extends your vision. So, no one builds an empire alone. Samantha works with world class fitness trainers, spiritual guides, film directors, business advisors, and surround yourself with people who amplify your vision, not just execute tasks. Lesson 7 being reinvention is a business strategy. So, Samantha 2026 is not the same as Samantha 2015. So she has consciously evolved, shedding what no longer fits, adding what aligns. The willingness to reinvent while staying true to core identity is the ultimate competitive advantage. So, coming to the final summary. So, before coming to the summary, I wanted to also share with you her few of other details what she owns. So coming to the ecosystem core, the core founderships and wellness districts. First one was she also has the longevity and cellular science with Gataka. So Samantha co-founded Gataka. It is a cutting edge nutraceutical film focused on extending health span and optimizing performance. So instead of selling standard over the counter vitamins, she backed science backed cellular health, explicitly launching NMN and apigenin formulations aimed at DNA repair and cellular energy. And she effectively institutionalized her own health recovery into a high margin longevity startup. And next one, she also had clean formulations via Secret Alchemist. So, born directly out of her health induced perfume allergies, she joined Secret Alchemist as a co partner, steering the brand from its botanical roots into a highly profitable, specialized clean aromatherapy and personal care player. And also, she has a strategic relaunch of Mile Collective, an activewear brand engineered directly for the athletic needs of modern Indian women. Coming to the media engine, as I told you before, she has, instead of waiting for production houses to pitch roles to her, she founded the Tralala Moving Pictures. And this production house wasn't just built to produce commercial cinema, it was built to capture and own intellectual property, focusing on inclusive new age cinematic expressions. And coming to the silent equity and asset plays. She backed Nourish You, a fortune runner in clean, premium plant-based superfoods, and also Urban Kisan, which is a highly innovative agri-tech startup disrupting urban farming with hydroponic and vertical farming technology. And yeah, I think that's it all about what she owns. And coming to the final summary now, so let's bring it all together. So Samantha Ruth Prabhu has built something rare, a personal brand ecosystem where every element makes every other element stronger. So her acting career drives global visibility, her Saaki brand converts trust into commerce, her investments of Traya, Milo, and many others anchor health credibility, and her production house builds creative and financial ownership. Her Devi Sadhana practice provides the philosophical foundation. Her fitness journey creates um, daily content and deep audience connection, and her vulnerability in the face of illness and personal loss created loyalty that no marketing campaign could ever buy. So she didn't build this from a spreadsheet. She built it by living with intention and letting the world see that intention. So, the lesson for all of us is that whether you're an entrepreneur, a creator, a professional, or a student building your first personal brand, the most powerful thing you can do is live aligned with your values. Do your work with excellence. Share your journey honestly and build in categories where you have genuine authenticity. And the brand, the audience, the business, the impact will follow. So, this is what I wanted to say to all of you. And I want to know what part of Samantha's story resonated most with you. Is it the business strategy, the health journey, the spiritual dimension, the personal branding genius? Drop it in the comments and I read every single one. If this video gave you something to think about, hit the like button and it truly helps this channel to grow. Subscribe and hit the bell because every week I break down the stories of extraordinary people building extraordinary things. And share this with someone who is going through a hard time and needs to see what's possible on other side of it. See you next week. Take care. Thank you. And happy livings and bye bye.